Welcome back to Extra Innings with Bob, yours truly. We have another installment of our chat. And I'm wearing a Padre cap today, as you can see, because I wear it all the time when I go to Petco, wear it around town like a lot of people do. But sometimes I go to Petco with this hat when the Pirates are in town. I love to go see the Pirates play with my Roberto Clemente shirt. And of course, that confuses everyone. What are you doing? And I say, well, I'm a real fan of the Padres, but I'm paying honor to Roberto Clemente, who was a very special player and a very special human being. And they nod and they understand that, knowing his history. Uniforms in general have always been important to me. You may not know this, but the NFL actually has a uniform police. And if the players don't have their shirt tucked in or they're covering their socks, they get cited and they pay a fine. Basketball uniforms evolved too. When I was young, the uniforms in college and professional were exquisite, in my opinion. Sometimes it was satin. It was all before stretched spandex and that kind of thing. There was satin, silk, whatever. But they wore long pants when they came out to warm up and had a jacket of some kind. As a matter of fact, the Scranton Miners, a semi-pro basketball team in Scranton, had uniforms that glowed in the dark. So they would line up in the locker room and have these heavy lights on all of them. They'd turn out the lights in the gym, and when they came onto the court, they were glowing. So it was kind of a gimmick, but it was important how players looked. Baseball is different. There's not a police, I don't believe, in baseball right now. And the original uniforms that I grew up with were mostly in the pants. The difference, they were knickers, they wore white sanitary socks, and stirrups of different colors. After all, don't forget, they were the Boston Red Sox, the Chicago White Sox, and the Cincinnati team were just the Cincinnati Reds. But during the Communist scare and the Cold War, the Iron Curtain, the Cincinnati team wanted to be called the Red Stockings. They didn't want to be called the Reds anymore. And I loved that. I loved that dress. But along came a Cleveland Indian by the name of George Hendricks. And he decided he was going to wear his pants below his ankles, almost touching his shoes. And that started a trend. I call them the pajamas. And now a great percentage of baseball players wear pajamas and not knickers. I looked for the stirrups, and some players do, and they look sensational. College, some teams, and pros. When I was young, everything that was really special and really good culturally, in sports, in politics, everything. My father used to say if he saw something good in our small town in Scranton, Pennsylvania, he would say, just like New York. And I had an opportunity to go to New York, Yankee Stadium, on July 4th with my brother Jim. It was incredibly hot. We took the train to Hoboken and got by subway to Yankee Stadium. And when I walked into the tunnel, just like Billy Crystal talks about, that first image of Yankee Stadium and the grass and the white facade, the lattice work around the house that Ruth built, was awe-inspiring. It was bigger than life. But of course, we had our Sunday best on. My mother insisted on that, so I had these wool pants, and we were boiling. So during innings, we would sometimes go to the men's room and run cold water on our wrists to try to stay cool. I remember sitting in front of a young boy who was on a television program, he was a whiz kid. If you remember radio days, the family went to the zoo and they came across a young man who was also on the radio at that time and was a whiz kid. And the father, who was played by Michael Tucker, and I went to school with him, he hit his own kid on the head and said, "Why aren't you so smart?" The kids that I saw, other kids that I saw going into Yankee Stadium, had a secret way of getting autographs. I used to mail letters to Mickey Mantle at care of Yankee Stadium, and I never heard back. But these young boys would hand a self-addressed stamped postcard to the players, and that's it. They'd walk in with them, and if they took the time, they'd sign them and drop them in the mail. The kids were ingenious.